It's weird that Thanksgiving always comes on a Thursday. Yesterday I was in school, and today it's this big family holiday thing. It's kind of jarring. In my opinion, we should get the whole week off, like for Christmas. By the time we sit down for Thanksgiving dinner, the glows around everyone have faded even more. Now they're just a soft glimmer. For some reason, Mango's color is the brightest. Dad didn't speak to Mom all morning because of the turkey tofu switcheroo. He finally caved in around 3 this afternoon when Beth convinced him that Thanksgiving is about giving thanks for the freedom of all living things, and that includes the turkeys. Today is the second Thanksgiving since Grandpa died, and it just isn't the same without him. It was his favorite holiday. He used to take some of the corn stalks that Jenna's father gave us and make tie-dyed patterns on the corn with food coloring. After a while, the corn would start to stink, but it made the table look very festive. It's too quiet without him here. Mango is curled up in a ball under my chair, and I silently thank him for bringing some piece of Grandpa back to the table, even if I'm the only one who knows it. The vet told us to keep Mango inside during the cold weather, so he hasn't been allowed out in a while. He finally stopped pacing by the back door, and now just stares longingly out the windows. I reach down and give him a morsel of tofu loaf. He wrinkles his nose at it. After dinner, Mom takes a well-deserved break in the living room while the rest of us clean up. We were planning on going up to the cemetery, but it's freezing outside and Mom won't let us go. The cold front has definitely arrived. We make a lot of noise in the kitchen, maybe to make up for the quiet dinner. Raising his voice above the banging pots, Dad asks me if I'm excited about the synesthesia meeting. I nod, but I don't know if I'm more nervous or more excited about meeting everyone, especially Adam. I'm glad there's a short session on Friday night, so by Saturday I'll feel more comfortable with everyone. I hope. And with Jenna's birthday party on Saturday night, this is going to be a big weekend. So, what time does the freak show start? Zach asks, as he plops his dirty plate into the soapy water-filled sink. Zach, my father says, flicking his dishcloth at him. Apologize to your sister. I'm sorry, Mia, Zach says, lowering his eyes demurely. No, you're not, I reply. I'm a little sorry. You're just upset because Beth has to babysit for you while we're gone. I don't need a babysitter, Zach exclaims in a horrified tone. I'm 11. I think what Mia's doing is groovy, Beth interrupts. The three of us turn to stare at her, and Dad lets his dish towel fall to the ground. Groovy? Zach repeats. What is it? She asks innocently. I'm not allowed to say something nice to Mia in the spirit of Thanksgiving. Why don't we all try to make the spirit of Thanksgiving last year-round? My father suggests, retrieving his towel and shaking it out. Wouldn't that be nice? Sure, Dad, Zach says. No problem. For the rest of the night, we try to be nice to each other. This requires that the three of us stay at opposite ends of the house. Zach is on the computer, Beth is showing Mom some new yoga moves, and I'm throwing every item of clothing I have onto the floor in search of the perfect outfit for tomorrow night. I finally wind up sneaking into Beth's room and taking her blue and white striped dress from the back of her closet. She outgrew it 2 years ago, but has always refused to let me have it. Throwing off my clothes, I slip the dress over my head and look at myself in her full-length mirror. The sleeves are a little long, but other than that, it fits fine. A little twirl makes the skirt flare up. The dress makes me feel something I usually don't. Girly. Laughter from downstairs reminds me I only have a small window of time to act if I want permission to wear the dress. I quickly change back into my own clothes and bring the dress downstairs with me. Beth is still in the living room in a pose she calls a downward-facing dog. I ask sweetly if I can borrow the dress, and she has no choice but to say yes since Mom is in the room and it's Thanksgiving and all. I can feel her glaring at my back as I go up the stairs, but I don't care. I'm feeling girly, and I'm going to meet a boy tomorrow night. Chapter 13. The rhythm of the rain on the windshield of Dad's truck would almost be soothing if I weren't so crazed with anticipation. I'm trying not to fidget, because every time I shift in my seat, the torn vinyl scratches the backs of my legs. Dad's truck might handle better in the rain than Mom's car, but no one would call it comfortable. The ride to the university seems endless, and it's so dark out that I can't even watch the scenery. Are we almost there yet? I ask for the 10th time. Neither of my parents bothers to answer me. In fact, they haven't answered me the last 8 times. It's not my fault it's too dark and rainy to figure out where we are. Maybe I should have worn pants. Jerry said that most synesthetes are female, but the only ones I know about, Billy and Adam, are boys. What if I'm the only girl at the meeting? I'm sure I'm the youngest. What if I say something stupid? Maybe I shouldn't say anything at all. Finally, my mother points out a sign on the side of the road that says, University House, 2 miles. Jerry rented the building from the school for the weekend and said it has a cozy atmosphere. As we pull up alongside the house, I can see smoke billowing out of the chimney. I step out of the car, push open my umbrella, and shiver. The door opens as we approach it, and Debbie pops her head out. She beams at me and waves us in. I can hear voices talking and laughing in the next room. "You must be Mr. Winchell," Debbie says, pumping my dad's hand. She then turns to my mother. "We're so glad you could both come. Everyone else is here already, Mia. Ready to meet them?" My legs don't seem to want to move. I nod mutely. "Here, let me take your coat first." I slip off my coat and pass it to Debbie along with my dripping umbrella. She squeezes them into a small closet and leans her weight against the door to close it. Then she links her arm in mine and leads me toward the other room. My parents follow a few steps behind. "Here we are," she announces. I stare into what looks like a normal living room with couches, chairs, and a fireplace. About 15 unfamiliar faces turn toward us. The talking gradually stops as they wait for Debbie to introduce me. I'd say 3/4 of the group are women, of which I'm by far the youngest. I see Adam right away, since he's the only other teenager in the room. He looks a little like Roger, except his face is rounder and he has darker hair. He also has a big smile that covers practically the whole bottom half of his face. I guess he knows who I am, too. I scan the other faces, but don't see Jerry anywhere. I'm relieved to see that the glows around everyone are so faint that they won't distract me. "This is Mia Winchell," Debbie says, pushing me in front of her. "She's been working with us here in Chicago." "Hi, Mia," everyone says. "Hi," I answer in a small voice. I quickly see I'm dressed appropriately and relax a little. My parents slip over to the folding chairs in the corner. Jerry enters from the other end of the room with a tray of food, and his face lights up when he sees me. "Mia, grab a spot on the couch. Helen will move over, won't you, Helen?" Helen is about 60 years old and is wearing the most colorful patchwork dress I've ever seen. "Sure I will," Helen says, scooping up her skirt and patting the space beside her. I walk into the room and sit, amazed I didn't trip over the people sitting on the floor. Helen pats me on the knee, and her long earrings swish back and forth. Now that we're all here, Jerry says, settling into a chair by the fire, let's go around one last time and introduce ourselves. The group groans good-naturedly. Jerry adds, this time, please go into more detail about your own synesthesia. The introductions begin, and if the kids at school think I'm strange, they wouldn't believe some of these people. One woman sees colors and shapes whenever she eats cold food. Another woman swears that her numbers not only have color, but also have personalities. 3 other people in the room jump up and swear their numbers have personalities too. A lively debate arises over whether the number 8 is shy or a flirt. I listen in awe, stealing glances at Adam whenever possible. 8 is definitely a flirt, one of the women declares. Because 3 is shy, 4 is rude, and 2 is like your buddy. I hated taking math in school because I always felt bad making numbers who didn't like each other work together. I felt the same way, a guy in his 20s adds. Try explaining to your math teacher that you feel guilty pairing a 6 with a 2. I can see my parents' raised eyebrows from across the room. I'm glad they won't be here for the next 2 days. I give a quick shake of my head to indicate that they don't have to worry. My numbers do not have personalities. Not that it wouldn't make things interesting, but I have enough problems with math without adding guilt to the mix.